wrong button. Almost, and there we go. Hello, David Snowpeck here from Snowpeck Games. Welcome to the stream. Looks like we have Joe Drozen. How's it going, Joe? It's been a long time since I've chatted with you. I hope some other folks have found their way to the stream. I am streaming at a different time than usual today. So I suspect that a number of people haven't noticed and are going to turn up in about an hour at my usual streaming time, but we shall see. If anyone else is out there, please put a comment so I can see that you're there. Otherwise, I don't know who's there. We got some decent characters, you and me, Joe. I got a long-haired dude with a shield, and you got some braids, some silver braids, and what looks like in some armor. I also have to apologize for my voice. I've been coming down with a head cold this week, and then I woke up this morning, and I just literally could not talk at all. My voice was totally gone, but I forced it through. Word sounds are coming out again. But yeah, hopefully it will be all right anyway. Hey, Micah, welcome to the stream. You got an orc with... I mean, is that armor? It kind of makes... Did anyone else watch Deep Space Nine? It makes me think of the Bajoran officer uniforms from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I'm probably either a huge nerd or old for bringing that reference up. But yeah. How's everybody been doing? What have you folks been up to? Any news on any of your projects, game projects or otherwise? Playing anything cool? I'm still playing Cyberpunk. Although I didn't play it much at all this week. It's been such a busy week with work and stuff, and I think the last time I played it was on last weekend. But otherwise, like, all that's going on with me is, stuff on this project. Last week, for anyone who was here, we had a very frustrating stream. We didn't accomplish anything. We were setting out to, hey, Mortos14, welcome to the stream. You got a pretty cool character. Some long hair, a purple shirt. I dig it. So last week, we were trying to implement multiview in the OpenGL renderer in Godot 4. And I'm going to give a very short explanation of what multiview is. So our goal overall is to get the Webxr module in Godot 4 working. It works in Godot 3, but it's not presently fully working in Godot 4. Webxr is a technology to allow you to create VR and AR experiences on the web. So the example that everyone gives for AR is you're like on your phone browsing like a furniture website and you see like a table and you want to see what that looked like in your room. So you press a like enter AR button and then you can look around and put the chair somewhere in your room. Of course, this is something that you've been able to do with apps for much longer, but this is entirely on a web page coming from the web. You can also provide VR experiences, which work just like any VR game or whatever. It takes over your whole world. You can do whatever you can do in a VR game. And one of the challenges with VR is that you have to render both a left and right eye. In Godot 3, it did the whole render pipeline twice. It would run the full render pipeline once for the left eye and then start back at the beginning and do it again for the right eye. In Godot 4, instead it uses multiview, which works in the Vulkan renderer, but it doesn't yet work in the OpenGL renderer, so that's what we've been working on. We need to have it working in OpenGL because we want it to run on the web for Webxr, and on the web we have WebGL. So that is what we were working on. Hey, Alexei Smirnov, welcome to the stream. I still got to fix the Cyrillic text thing. You look pretty cool, though. You got an orc with the sailor hat and a white beard. You look like a seasoned orc seaman there. So anyway, last week we were continuing to work on multiview for the OpenGL renderer. We're not going to work on that today, but last week we worked on it and got nowhere. It was like there was at least an hour of me stepping through the Godot renderer in the debugger line by line, trying to just get oriented to what the heck might be going on. But later that night, that same night, I got my kids to bed, I sat down at my computer, and in like 30 minutes, I solved all the problems. So before we dig into what we're actually going to be working on today, which is away from rendering, we're going to stop working on rendering. We're still going to work on Webxr. We're going to try to port some changes that we made to input for Webxr and Godot 3. We actually did these on stream back in January, but we weren't able to port them to Godot 4 because there just wasn't enough stuff working in Godot 4 at that point. But now we can. So we're going to take those changes from Godot 3, which relate to input, mostly related to AR input, import them to Godot 4. But before we do that, I want to show you guys how I got this working, because this was driving me crazy. The whole day on Friday, we did that stream, and I had to go do another like 5 hours of totally unrelated work, and had to go pick up my kids and do normal human things. I just could not stop thinking about this problem that we were working on, how I couldn't solve it, and I finally solved it. So there were two main problems that we were sort of looking at. One was that RenderDoc, which is this tool for debugging graphical API stuff, right? It lets us see like all of the OpenGL calls that our game, or our game engine in this case, because we're working on the engine, is making to the graphics card, and then lets us like look through that and see what's going on, which is super useful. But it appeared to be lying to us, because we were stepping through the code and we were seeing it do the right thing, and then we were looking in RenderDoc and it was telling us it was not doing the right thing. And I solved that problem. First, how about we actually do it? So where's my RenderDoc? It turns out to be a bug in RenderDoc is the problem. Hey, Micah. Micah did not get to spend too much time on projects this week. Hopefully manage time better next time. Yeah, it's always the time is time. Time is our greatest enemy. with my voice, with how I'm sick, it actually kind of sounds kind of awesome. I've got like movie man voice. The what is it? What is the movie thing? There was a time, or no? What is it? I can't think of it. Anyway, so the issue turned out to be a bug in RenderDoc. I was able to patch RenderDoc, make a PR. It's already been merged, so the next version of RenderDoc will not have this bug. How do we run this? Build Q RenderDoc? Or no, maybe bin? Build bin Q RenderDoc? There we go. So we are going to launch. Will this one work? This one won't work, because it's a build of the wrong version. I've been doing too many things. Okay, well, maybe I won't actually show it running in RenderDoc, but I will show you what the fix was. Basically, RenderDoc only supports some OpenGL extensions, and so when your app says like, hey, OpenGL, what extensions do you support? RenderDoc will actually remove from that extension list the extensions that it doesn't support. And it was removing the multiview extension from this list of extensions. But the thing is, it actually does support multiview. It just wasn't on the list. Here, I'll show you in the... We'll get the code up here. And we'll have to find where this change was, because it's already been a week. I don't remember exactly. We'll use Git to help us. So yeah, I guess actually we could just look at this diff. It has like this list of extensions it supports, and it removes everything else from the list. And all I had to do was add the multiview extensions to the list, because it did support them. If you were using GLES, it was on the list and it worked. But if you're using OpenGL, it wasn't on the list, even though like it totally should have worked. And what we were seeing in RenderDoc when we were running it before was the way we had written the code for multiview was if the multiview extension wasn't there, it would just be like, okay, well, we can't do that, so we're just not going to do multiview, which is why it was doing the things that it shouldn't have been doing. Anyway, that was the fix. It's fixed. It's awesome. And like I said, it's already been merged into RenderDoc, so no one else will have to suffer through what we suffered through last week ever again. And the other thing, we were not getting multiview to work in WebGL. When we exported it to the web, we were getting this error. Do I still have the error written down? I might. Well, anyway, the error was essentially saying that this shader program that you're running expects a certain number of views, and the texture you're rendering to, the render target, has a different number of views. And we just could not figure out how that was the case, and that's what we were just walking through the code forever. The solution, I guess I have to get to the right branch here. The solution turned out to be in our scene shader, this is the main shader that renders like 3D geometry in Godot. Oh, actually, it's not here anymore. It got moved. Well, okay, so there's like this chunk of code that we have to put at the top of the shader saying that we want the multiview extension. And it was here last week, but my changes got reviewed by Clayjohn, who maintains the OpenGL renderer, and he made some suggestions on that it shouldn't live there, that it should actually live here in this class that compiles the shaders, because like for folks who use Godot, hopefully that's all of you, I hope, you write your shaders in like a Godot specific shader language, and then it gets compiled into GLSL, and part of that process is this shader GLES2 class taking kind of this GLSL code from Godot and the code from your shader and combining them into like a normal GLSL script. Anyway, so now we're adding the multiview stuff in here rather than just putting it into the GLSL scripts themselves. And here's what it was. We were saying extension GL-OVR multiview require, and not this GL-OVR multiview to require, because my thinking at the time was that we don't actually need GL-OVR multiview 2. We just really need the earlier version of the extension, GL-OVR multiview. And why put a requirement on the 2 when all we really need is the 1? Like, this would be a good baseline. Like, fine, we'll just say 1. If they have 2, great, okay, cool, but we don't actually need it. Something I didn't think about, there is no GL-OVR multiview extension in WebGL. WebGL only has GL-OVR multiview 2. Silly problems, right? Super silly problems that we spent hours going over. So it turned out that really the thing is, if we have GL-OVR multiview 2, load that one. And if we don't, we only have this one, then load this one. So everything's working now. We have I think I can bring this up. I don't think I overwrote it. We can look at it working and celebrate a teeny tiny bit. Just need to start up a web server so that we can go visit our little demo, which is just a cube, simplest demo ever. We'll start up Nginx. And we will hop over here, go visit that in the web browser. Oh, and unrelatedly, or sort of totally relatedly, completely relatedly, last week I was also telling you guys that the Webxr emulator was not working. And I fixed that too. I fixed everything. Okay, so here's our little test app. If I click, we now have both the left and right eye rendered. This is the Webxr emulator. I can go over here to the little thing in the emulator that lets me like move where the headset is located, and everything responds. Everything's working. I can tilt all of that. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So I hate that you guys had to watch last week 2 hours of me not figuring it out. But the truth is, I needed those 2 hours. I needed to go through that whole process of not figuring it out and having it make me go crazy to eventually find the solution. It just kind of sucks that the embarrassing, like, not knowing what the heck is going on part had to happen on stream, that I couldn't have had like the victorious, like, finally solving it part on stream. But that's life. That's how it goes. Thanks, Micah. Yeah, so this PR that we've been working on is in really good shape. It's gotten some review from Clayjohn, who is he's the maintainer of the OpenGL renderer, and also just a member of the rendering team, also working on the Vulkan renderer. But I think he's pretty much the only person working on the OpenGL renderer at this point. But he reviewed it, and Bastian Oli, the XR maintainer, reviewed it. And there's really only one more thing that I have to do, and I wish we could do that on stream, but we can't really. Bastian asked me to try the OpenGL renderer with OpenXR. So I have it working with WebXR, but OpenXR absolutely supports OpenGL as well. Godot 3's OpenXR module uses OpenGL, since Godot 3 only supports OpenGL. But that's the last thing. That's the last thing. And then I'll take this PR out of drafts status and hopefully, get some last reviews and get it merged. The reason we can't work on that on stream, though, is that I'd have to do that development on Windows. Because the only headset that I have, well, the only two headsets that I have are both Oculus Quests. I have an Oculus Quest 1 and an Oculus Quest 2, and I can use that to do normal PCVR over the link cable or over AirLink or virtual desktop. But all those technologies only work on Windows. And I did not feel like trying to figure out how to do the stream from my Windows gaming PC. So we're not going to work on that on stream. I will be working on that probably over the weekend. Today, we're going to work on some input stuff. Hopefully all that made sense. If I'm talking gibberish, tell me I'm talking gibberish. And I'll try to explain better. But yeah, I hope you folks are doing good. I hope this the last stream was somewhat entertaining despite my flailing, and I hope this stream will be better. Okay. So, like I said before, we are porting some changes that we did for Godot 3. Let me find let me find the PRs. I actually have them in my notes. I just need to find a way to bring up my notes without showing my whole Google Drive on stream here. Get my notes here, send them over to this screen. All right. So, yeah, this isn't actually the document I was thinking of. I have another one, feature to forward port. So, during this period of time when I was still making changes to Godot 3's Webxr support, but I couldn't do it on Godot 4 because Godot 4 just didn't have enough stuff working that I needed, like the OpenGL renderer. I was maintaining this list of things that got committed to Godot 3 that would need to eventually be ported to Godot 4. And I think this is the one. I think this is the one. Okay, so if you guys remember, back in January, we were doing a bunch of AR stuff for Webxr, and one of the things was converting the way Webxr recognizes touch events, which is super weird, into normal Godot touch events, so that you could just like code your Godot app like normal, looking for input event screen touch and input event screen drag, and just do normal things. Because yeah, Webxr does something really weird. I actually can't even fully remember it. I'd have to look at this code to see exactly how it works. But it's like it treats the touch as a controller, and then the ray of the controller, or no, array would be much more useful than what it actually is. I think it treats it as a controller, and then it gives you the X and Y position on the screen that the touch happened as the controller's thumbstick position. I think that's what it was. Let's look at this code. Okay, so we have this thing where we add an API that lets developers check what the target ray mode of a Webxr controller is. And I think we need that to distinguish between a touch and like a normal controller and all the different things that Webxr can count as controllers. And how do we get the position? Okay, yeah, so we have this get screen position from joy vector. And the joy vector comes from the controller axes. So hopefully this code just comes like right here. Okay, here we go. So it's taking the X and Y axes on a controller thumbstick, and it is, I think, turning that into a value from -1 to +1. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, because that's what you get from the stick, right? From the thumbstick on the controller is a value between -1 and +1 for both the X and the Y. Turns that into a vector, and then we take the dimensions of the root viewport, and we use that to turn it into actual screen position. So here we're getting a percentage, so we're turning that -1 to +1 into like a between 0 and 1 percentage value, and then we multiply that by the viewport size, and that's how we get the position. Isn't that so weird? Like, I do not know why Webxr does this, and it's not well documented either. I remember I was trying to figure this out and just couldn't work it out, and then I was chatting with the maintainer of the Unity Webxr support on the Webxr Discord, and he explained it to me, and I'm like, I do not know how you figured this out, because I did not come across it in the docs at all, or the specs, I mean, I guess I should say, for Webxr. So anyway, we have to take this code from Godot 3, bring it over to Godot 4, change it till it works, test it, and that's what we're doing today. Sound good? Oh, I missed Micah's comment. That was me for programming assignment. I couldn't understand why my code wasn't working. I randomly tried a few things, and then suddenly it worked 2 hours and 40 minutes or so later. Yeah, it's so weird, like how the brain works sometimes. Sometimes you just have to bash your head against it for however long, and then suddenly it just comes to you. It just pops in there. Okay, so we need to get this as a patch. I suppose I could cherry pick. I could cherry pick the commit. That's another way to do that. To do this. Let me see what the commit is called. That might not work, but we can certainly try it. So what's the commit message? Or I could even get the commit hash here. Yeah, let's grab this commit hash. And we are going to pop over to our code. We have to go back to the right branch. Git checkout. I called it master Webxr input. There we go. And let's try git cherry pick. This might not work. We might have to do a patch anyway, but let's try it. Cherry pick failed. Okay, it's not going to work. We can get a patch actually from Git right here, though. I don't have to go back to GitHub. I can say git diff the hash number ~1 ... the hash number again. There's the patch. Let's write it to a patch file, and then we'll use patch to apply it. And it failed all over the place. You guys see this? So we are going to go through each of the places this patch failed, which I should have cleaned up my source tree before I did this, so I could just rely on these .reg files. I didn't do that, so I'm going to copy and paste this little message that it gave us to a scratchpad. New scratchpad. What? Since when do you give me all these file types? VS Code has changed something. Okay. So we have that stuff in a scratchpad now. And we're going to go through it piece by piece. So we have these changes to Webxr interface XML. Odds are we're just going to have to write that the documentation again, but we will see. Sorry, Logan. Yeah, I don't know if I'll keep doing it at this time, but I'm trying it a new time, and if it works out, I might stick with it. It's slightly more convenient for me because I used to have a work meeting at 9-ish, and then I would do the stream after, but now I don't have anything, and like streaming psychs me out, man. It makes me so nervous. I can't think clearly in the hour before the stream starts, so just starting it right away, it might make it easier for me to get more work done in a day. We'll see. So let's go find, nope, I didn't want this. Let's go find Webxr interface XML. And Logan, you missed my long, probably too long explanation of how I solved all of the problems we were having last week. Because I know you suffered through at least part of that with me. How come I'm not seeing any? Oh, right. I was looking for like Git. You know, Git inserts those like conflict things, but that's not gonna happen because I applied this with patch and not Git. So I need to actually look for Webxr interface xml.reg. Okay, so this added a bunch of constants. I think actually we can merge this in. This should be fine. Let's go back to our file here. Interface. And let's see if we have any constants here. We should. Constants. No? Where'd our constants go? We've got members, we've got methods, we've got signals. No constants. That is interesting. What are the other constants that we have in? Are these the only constants? Okay, well, let's copy that. It looks like it wants to put them at the end. The XML files can be regenerated by Godot. There's a doctool command, which we will run at the very end in case it wants to put things in a slightly different order than we put them. Hey, Mohammed, welcome to the stream. What kind of character did you guys get? I missed Logan's character. Well, I see Mohammed's. Mohammed has a long braid and what appears to be a blonde beard. An interesting combo. All right, so we added that. That should be good. What is the next part that failed here? So Webxr interface .h. So open that one up. Webxr interface.h.reg. We need interface.h.reg. There we go. And we're adding a target ray mode method. Oh yeah, and probably the reason that it couldn't merge this is that this class has a different name in Godot form. So let's go to Webxr interface.h. And we will put this right below in the same spot. Yeah, see, it's called XR Positional Tracker in Godot 4. It was called ARVR Positional Tracker in Godot 3. You know, man, Logan says you've been streaming for quite a while, and I'm surprised to hear that it still stresses you out. Yeah, this is the 66th stream or something. I don't think it will ever not stress me out. Like, I have a feeling that if this was more human, like if I was like on stage and you guys were like out there and I could see you and be like, hey, what up? And like hear what you're saying and thinking and stuff, like I think it would be less stressful. But the fact that I'm like in a room talking to nobody, like I can't actually see anyone's reaction. Yeah, it's an interesting experience. I don't know if other people here have streamed before, but it is weird. Streaming is weird. I feel like my IQ drops by like 20%, and I just feel so anxious and awkward. All right, we put those changes in. That should be all good. Let's see what we got next. Some stuff in CPP. Interesting, the JavaScript code did not conflict at all, which I guess is great. I'm happy about no conflicts, but I'm a little bit surprised. Webxr interface JS or JS CPP reg. There we go. Very difficult to fill the void with articulate thoughts. Yeah. You know, the first 3 times I streamed, it was horrible. And if you go look at like the playlist of my streams on YouTube, the first 3 are conspicuously missing. They're still there. You can actually still get to them if you know the URL, but they're unlisted and hidden because they were so painful. All right, so we need to change the way that this works. If you haven't ever done anything with the web platform in Godot, is that we can define some functions and then have the implementations actually be in JavaScript. So then we can call to those functions from C++ and get results that way. And we can also create functions in C++ that can be called from JavaScript via function pointers, but they have to be C linkage. They can't be C++ linkage. So that's why we have like all these little helper C methods that get called from JavaScript back to C++ land. So it looks like we need to make some changes to the signature. on one of those classes, and a bunch of stuff that just did not merge here. We'll be copying and pasting all of this into place. All right, so that is over in Webxr interface CPP, or no, JS CPP, Webxr interface JS CPP. We all start somewhere. Yeah, it's an interesting. So Mohammed, I do a lot of web development stuff. My work is basically split between like web dev and game dev. I actually do slightly more than 50% of my paid work is game dev now than web dev, which I am super excited about. I hope to reach 100% at some point. But going from doing like HTML, CSS, JavaScript to then like let's put some C++ in there, it is interesting. It's really cool though. I am digging it. We'll see what happens, but like with how cool WebAssembly is, like maybe one day we'll just be doing all of our web programming in like Rust or something. All right, so I am looking for on input event, and we need to change the signature. We'll do Alt Z so I can see the end of these lines. Oops, I actually click over here. So we changed input event from taking a string to taking an int. So actually, hang on. I'll just copy and paste. I'll copy and paste this over to here. That should be good. Again, I apologize for my voice. I'm coming down with the cold. Then we need this. So yeah, what this method is doing is it's a callback from JavaScript to C++ land, and then we are getting a pointer to our C++ class, our Webxr interface JS class, and then passing on the same information that we got to this method onto C++, because like I said, we have to have these methods that are called from JavaScript to C++ with C linkage. So that's why we're doing extern C. We can't call directly all the way to C++. Yeah, Mohammed, I do have a Discord. If you look at the bottom of the screen, there's a black bar with a URL. Go to that URL. It will get you in the Discord. Micah says he's always wanted to try streaming, but I have to wait till I have a job and can afford a good PC. And I'm like, yeah, it's surprisingly a lot easier to stream the more equipment that you have. Which, yeah, I think I did my first streams with just the one screen, and now I have all of these screens. And I guess I always had this audio equipment because I used to be a musician, like way back in the day. So I have like professional recording equipment, which I run the audio through. But on my first stream, of course, I didn't use it. My first 3 streams, I was using like my where the heck is it? I have like a USB like junk headset that I paid $20 for. So that's what's in those first 3 streams. Also, I don't know. I just didn't hook up all the equipment. All right, so where was I? I was doing on input event. We put in that pointer. That is all good. Let's jump down to on simple event. We're not changing the signature, but we are changing the way we are calculating the controller ID. There's a lot of stuff actually about how we have input working in the Godot 3 version that we might change. Or no, this is not simple event. This is way further down. This is update tracker. Right now, like I just kind of want to take exactly what we have in Godot 3 and just hack it, just tweak it till it works. But once that's done, I think we're gonna have to take like a holistic view of how this class works, the Webxr interface JS class, and potentially just like rewrite a lot of things. Because we're doing this weird thing where like we're taking the controllers that Webxr gives us and registering them as Godot controllers with whatever their ID is from Webxr, which we make up the ID. It's just a consecutive integer, and add 100 to it because the list of controllers from Webxr is completely separate from the list of controllers just from like HTML5, just from like normal web, and we can't have them stomp on each other, right? So we have to do this plus 100. We might be able to do something smarter in Godot 4. I need to spend some more time looking at how, you know, the XR positional trackers and all that stuff works in Godot 4. We might not have to do this plus 100 hack here. I just realized that I am in the wrong Discord. Let me get there real quick. Sorry for the odd delay there. All right. I'm now looking at the right Discord. Mohammed says, how many hours did you spend on this project? A lot. So I originally implemented the Webxr module for... I almost coughed. I didn't, though. For Godot back in fall of 2020, I think. It was my first big contribution to Godot. I streamed some of it. I made some progress report videos and stuff. You can go back and watch those. But yeah, I spent tens of hours back then, maybe even 100 hours, I don't know, getting it initially done. And then over time, you know, I've put in little sprints of working on it and implementing improvements. So I don't know, tens, maybe 100, maybe 200 hours, like a lot of hours over the past 2 years doing things on it. And it's not even like, there's so many more things I want to do with it. So many more features of Webxr that aren't exposed to Godot. Just time is the enemy. Time. I wish I had more time to do all of the cool projects that I want to do. Okay, so it looks like this code is supposed to go where? We're calculating the tracker matrix. So that's trying to figure out the positional matrix of the controller. Right here, tracker matrix, and right before it, we're doing this joy ID thing. Are we doing the joy ID thing at all in the Godot 4 version? I think we might not be. Yeah, I think we already might be doing something smarter in Godot 4. It looks like the trackers have names, and no, these are buttons. Buttons have names. Set pose. And the trackers have names as well. Yeah. Okay, so this controller ID plus 100 thing, don't need it in Godot 4. Thank you, Godot 4. That's awesome. And then here, what is this change even about? Is this a real change, or is this just writing the same thing in a different way? I think this might just be writing the same thing in a different way. All right, and then we're doing some different interesting things with axes. So in the previous code, we're just taking the axes positions. This is the thumbstick axes. We're taking the position of the thumbstick, and we're just setting it on the tracker. But in the new code, we need to check what its ray mode is. If the ray mode is screen, that's a touch event. Then we need to do this unholy mess that we were talking about earlier, which is converting why they made it be a joystick position. We need to convert this joystick position into a screen position, and then we generate a screen drag event? I wonder why we're generating a screen drag event here and not... If touch index is less than 5... touch index. Somewhere we must be generating the initial events, not just the drag events. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. So we have this other on input event, and this is generating the input event screen touch events, where we must be marking like that we are touching, which I guess is this array here. We only allow up to 5 touch events at a time, given you have 5 fingers. Although I guess you have 10 fingers. I wonder if some smartphones can track 10 touches. That would be interesting. For some reason, it's limited to 5. Okay, so yeah, we need to get this code in above the code we already have for the axes. So let's copy and paste this. Oh, you mean like weeks? So okay. So like we've been doing this stuff on stream for the last 2 weeks. So this would be the 3rd week we're doing it on stream. But I don't know. We're gonna work on this on stream until either it's done as well as Godot 3 is, or we don't make it and Godot 4 comes out, and then or 4.0, and then maybe I'll take a little break before diving back into it to get into Godot 4.1. But I'm really hopeful. This is going way better than I thought. It's going way better than I thought it would. I'm hopeful that we can get this in for Godot 4.0. Okay, so let's insert this code. Get rid of all the little plus signs from the patch. I could have done that with a regex. I don't know why I did it by hand. Okay, so target ray mode equals this. Touch index, get touch. Okay, so we have to declare these methods. Oh, instance. I think in Godot 4 this has become instantiate instead of instance. This input, yeah, we assigned it to a local variable in Godot 3, but we did not in Godot 4. Do we even have it? This we might need to figure out. So we need a way to get the previous joy vector before we change it, which down here we're assigning these to these named inputs. Yeah, we may need to do something like let's just make some space for ourselves here. We need to do tracker get input, and it looks like we're naming these like axis underscore index, which we know that it is axis 0 for the x and axis 1 for y. Tracker get input axis 1, and that should be good. Typo, hand malfunction. Okay, so that code, or there was a space there. If I can, I want to try and keep the code like line by line similar to the Godot 3 code, because it'll make it easier to port patches back and forth. But honestly, we might not be doing that after this. After getting this last thing from Godot 3 into Godot 4's version of Webxr, we might just like stop maintaining the Godot 3 one. We'll see. It might just be all Godot 4 from here, and I might not really have to worry as much as I am about trying to make these things look the same. Okay, so this is interesting. We are going to need to get this input singleton to submit the events to Godot, which it looks like we didn't need for any of the other stuff that we were doing here. So we are no longer like assigning it to here. Something I do remember about Godot 4, there's no longer input default. There's just an input singleton, so this might actually be easier. Let's see if we can just do input get singleton and replace that here. Hey, VS Code likes it. That's always a good sign. We'll see if it compiles. All right, so I think that's all the code we can do here. And then let's go on to these new methods. You'll copy and paste. They come below onControllerChanged. And here I will do a regex to get rid of all these pluses, so I don't have to hit a button 200 times or whatever it would be. So we'll do dir, dir, What am I doing wrong here? Oh, do I have to escape the plus sign? I do. Okay. That regex is good. Got rid of all the plus signs. And we will go through this code and change the bits that we know we need to change. We'll probably be back here again. Yeah, we have to, some of this stuff is just missing from the header, because we haven't done the header yet. So VS Code is complaining at us. And actually here, we're calling to input enough times. Let's actually assign this to a temporary variable. This isn't in a loop. That looks good. Input get singleton. And then down here, let's replace this with a local variable. And a lot of these just appear to be about the fact that we don't have this in our header. So let's address the header next. So that's everything here. So our scratch.txt brings us next to Webxr interface js.h. So Webxr interface js.h.reg. And yep, we just got to get all that stuff in there. So let's go over to that file and hope I'm in the right frame. Interface js.h. And we have this below update tracker. All right, declare those. And then down here below get controller, which I'm just not seeing right now. Get controller, there it is. We add this extra get controller target ray mode. Bam. Okay. That is, or no, that's not quite it. We missed this touching array. And then that's it. That's all of the code added. I guess, yeah, here's where it should go. Okay, that is all the code added in the patch. There's probably still some cases where we need to update some stuff. Need VS Code to re-parse this. All right. What is your... Oh, it reparsed it, and then the error went away. Scene tree is undefined. Okay, what do we need to do to get scene tree? Where is scene tree? Scene tree.h in main or scene/main. So scene/main scene tree.h. Something just like always bothers me about unsorted headers. And like they either need to be sorted in a logical way or they need to be sorted alphabetically, or they just bother me. I don't know if you guys have that experience, but I'm going to sort these alphabetically. And I messed up the spacing a little bit. Yeah, either I have to do them like more generic to more specific. I like sorting my headers that way. Or if there's no sense to it, just alphabetical. All right, so let's jump down here again. Scene tree get root. Interesting. Okay, so the root of the scene tree is now a window instead of a viewport, which window is a child class of viewport, which I know from a couple weeks ago when we were we were working on the rendering stuff. Your follow from Iraq, this is great. That's awesome. I am excited to have a follow from Iraq. All right, so viewport get size. Why do we not have a size? Incomplete class. Okay, so we need the header for window 2. Incomplete class means we had a forward declaration but not the full declaration. I think it's scene main, maybe? Yep, scene main. Alright, so that code is at least not yelling at me from VS Code. What's going on here? Set joy axis. Argument type of int is incompatible with parameter type joy axis. Argument of type int is incompatible with parameter type joy axis. Okay, let's see what the... Oh, come on, just don't go away. Okay, so we are passing an integer when it's got this enum joy axis, which we're going to have to see what the deal is with that enum. Come on. All right, okay, cool. We'll just, instead of using 0 and 1, we'll use actually the names from the enumeration. Let's bounce back over there. So joy axis left x. Joy axis left y. Although, should we be doing this? This code might just be invalid now because we're not doing the controller ID plus 100 thing anymore. I don't think we are. We weren't doing it in the other bit of code that we went through. Yeah, I'm thinking we just remove that. At least for now. I again, like, I don't entirely understand what the plan is for input for XR controllers in Godot 4. I need to spend some time, like, figuring out how that should be done. But for now, since we're not doing it anywhere else, let's just remove all these things where we're adding 100 and sending it to Godot. All right, so any more red squigglies? Oops, that was a real line. What's this? What's this little red? I don't see it. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. I'm getting a cold. I'm getting a cold. Okay. We applied the patch. We changed it till there were no more red squigglies. And the next step is to try and compile it. See what happens. Task, run build task, we're going to build HTML5. Awesome. Hey, did you guys see the Godot show reels? They just came out a day or two ago. I watched the desktop and console one, and those games looked amazing. I have not yet watched the... oh, I'd already finished. I've not yet watched the other ones. Maybe we can watch them on stream during a compile to check them out, but that compile finished really fast. Or didn't finish. Aha! Okay, we got some compile errors here. Get controller target ray mode overrides a member function, but is not marked override. All right. That is a great note. GCC. Let's go fix that. So modern C++ has this great keyword where you say override. I'm intending for this method to override a virtual method. And it's really great because how many times have you intended to override a virtual method, but you like typoed it or had the parameters not quite right? And so now it's a new method instead of overriding this virtual method. And there's no way to catch that, right? Except if you declare your intent for it to be an override method by putting this override keyword on it. And once you start using the override keyword, C++ requires you, the compiler requires you to keep using it. So we took this code from Godot 3, which doesn't use the override keyword, and we need to start using it because all of the other methods here use the override keyword. Was it just that one? Oh, and we have this AR/VR server that got left in there. That's the name of that class in Godot 3, so let's hop back over there. That is Webxr interface JS CPP. AR/VR server. Okay. So let's go up a little bit, steal some code from some of these other methods that we already previously ported. Yeah, okay, so we have to return a value. So I think this is actually a good example. So here we are in this method, we are trying to get the XR server, singleton. If it doesn't exist, if it's null, we need to return a default value, which I guess is this target ray mode unknown. And using this macro will make it appear as an error in the editor, in the little errors tab under debugger. So that's good. Then we're doing this check to see if it's a valid controller ID. That's all good. And then we are calling into... Wait, why do we even need the XR server? Why do we need the XR server here? What's going on? Am I in the right spot? AR/VR server. We don't really actually need this here, do we? It's like in these ones, we like 100% need it. It won't work without it. This one we're just kind of checking for fun. Let's just get rid of this. Let's just do that. I mean, this class couldn't really exist. I mean, I guess it could. It could exist if the XR server wasn't there. But like this function will totally succeed. I don't think we need to. Or I mean, I guess we're doing it here. We're doing it right above. And it doesn't technically need it either. Okay, consistency. Consistency. We're bringing it back. We don't really need it, though. All right. And do we do that again somewhere? Or is that all just the same thing? AR/VR server. Nope, we don't do it again. Okay, take two. Let's compile this again and see what we get. We'll go take a peek at the show reel. Did anyone get any of their games in the show reel? There's some good games in there, so I have a feeling that that nobody I personally know did, just because the games are so good, at least in the desktop one. I didn't look at the mobile or the apps, but the desktop one, they of course had Dome Keeper and Brotato, and this one looks cool. I've seen some devlogs of here, I'll turn this down a little bit. I've seen some devlogs of this one. It's like a mining thing. The picture quality is terrible. Oh, there it snapped in. Here we go. Yeah, I read a tweet from the creator of Dome Keeper, said that he got 1 million in sales in relatively short period of time. Here we go. Here's Dome Keeper, which is pretty impressive for a 2D Godot game. I'm definitely planning to check it out. And then, yeah, this looks cool too. This one kind of makes me think of RimWorld a little bit, but I don't know anything about it. Other than just looking at it makes me think of RimWorld. The art style makes me think of, what is that, 1 Hour, 1 Life? Oh, and this looks cool too, a sort of Pokemon kind of thing, cassette beasts, with interesting pixel art style. 2D, 3D thing going. Platformer of some kind. I've seen some devlogs of this one too, which has just got a really interesting art style. A VR game, yay! Looks like a rhythm thing, kinda, maybe? This looks cool. I love these kind of games. these builder kind of games. I have to check that out. I had no idea. It looks like Yuri, a very prolific Godot contributor, made that one. We're gonna get to Brotato. Where's Brotato? Well, it's coming. This is a long video. Here, let's go see if our compile finished. We can always come back. We can come back and watch more of that in a little bit. All right, our compile finished. So, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna test this? I should have spent more time thinking about this before the stream. We may have to make a little example project. Yeah. Let's, I'm gonna take a quick peek at my games directory here and see if I have any that look like I had done this before. Yeah, I'm sure I had a test project from when we were writing this code in the first place, but of course it's Godot 3, but I would be interested to see what I had done. Testing touch is going to be interesting. We may actually have to plug my phone in and deploy to my phone, or not deploy to my phone, but open it up on my phone and then do the debugger over the USB. Oh yeah, that clay style game, that looked really cool. Just like, that's a super cool art style. I have not played OpenTTD, although that is definitely along the lines of something that I should love. I play a lot of FreeCiv, or at least I used to. I haven't played it in a while, but I love FreeCiv. But a lot of those like open source recreations of like Civ or City Builder, Roller Coaster Tycoon, that kind of stuff is definitely like my thing for sure. Yeah, so let's, here's what we're gonna do. We are going to launch, so should we use beta 2 with the caveat that it might not be able to export because we're using a newer master? Or should we run this version of master with the caveat that it might crash right away because it's just a random commit of master? Let's go with the second option, and then if it doesn't crash, we will keep using it. If it does crash, we'll switch to Godot 4 Beta 2. It shouldn't take practically no time to compile, because all of the code that we changed is in stuff that mostly is for the web platform, so the editor should compile really quick. But while we're waiting, we can still watch a little bit more of the yeah, this is an interesting art style too, the paper kind of style. This one's got, this looks like someone did it in Credo, like painted it, digital painted it. So I know these kind of games are like super popular indie games, but like these sort of precision platforming things are not my thing. So this is some kind of tactics card game. Oh, and this looks cool too. Virtual circuit board. Oh wow, so the code on the left, did you guys see that? That looked like, I mean, I imagine a lot of assembly languages are probably fairly similar, but that looked like 6502 assembly, which we have done, I think, a little bit on stream. Oh, definitely not 6502, because what is SLL, SCL? I don't know those commands. But something in the family. Something in the family. But that's cool. So apparently you're building circuits and then programming them in assembly. That's really interesting. All right, we have to have finished compiling by now, right? No, we're linking. Linking forever. We already got through this one. What's next? Oh, it looks like an ARPG kind of thing. Or maybe puzzle. Maybe more of a puzzle kind of thing. That looks really cool. This sort of art style is a lot of the games I played as a youth. This looks cool too. Dash Pong. Brotato. So I don't know anything about this game really, except that like everyone's talking about it right now. But it looks very chaotic. And this got kind of like an R-type thing going. It's like R-type, but with cats. This looks cool. This is maybe more ARPG. Extinction Eclipse. It's like maybe a tactics kind of thing? Like a RTS? Alright, how long can you link for? Okay, we're done linking. Actually, I can just hit F5, right? Yep. Have you ever played Shenzhen IO? I have not. What is it? Building. Or running, I guess. We're not really building, are we? Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, so what I think we need to do for our demo app is we need to make an app with some 3D something in the background. We'll put a cube. Oh, of course I have it not set to run the editor. Okay, we'll just run this from the command line. We'll put a cube in 3D in the back, and we will put a canvas layer on top with a button on it, and we will touch the button. That's what we're going to do. Maybe we need 2 buttons. Well, we'll see. We'll see. And I should look at some of... I haven't done an AR anything in Webxr in a long time, so I should look at if I can find... I think the Toy Racer... Yeah, I think Toy Racer has an AR mode to it. Games, Toy Racer XR. Is that gonna get at me there? No, it's not. Probably because of spaces. What did I call it? Toy Racer XR? And what I want to see is just the main GD here. Yeah, so what do we do when we press the AR button? Right, we have to set the background to transparent. That's the main thing. Apparently FXAA will do bad things, but luckily FXAA does not exist in the OpenGL renderer yet. So yeah, should be easy. It's a fun game where you work as an electronics engineer. You create circuits and write code for them. It seems pretty fun. It's quite popular and a lot of people really love it. Yeah, so I was trying to get into hardware for a little while. I have my like little computer kits back there. I forget the name of the guy who I got the computer kits from, but definitely like the software part of it is just slightly more interesting. Like the idea that I could write like a little bit of assembly code, that seems super fun. You should get Adb set up to work over Wi-Fi, so you don't have to connect your phone to your computer. Yeah, I should. I don't mind the wire though. It just works. It's easy. Maybe one of these days though. But yeah, that would make things slightly more convenient. I wouldn't have to search on my floor for where that wire is laying. Okay, so we are going to make a new project. We'll select mobile for now. We're going to change that as soon as we get in there. This will be G4 Webxr. Or you know what? We could use this project. We'll add like an AR mode to this project. Let's try that. So this is the project we've been using to test where you just touch the screen and it splits to 2 views. It did not use buttons because there was a period of time when 2D rendering was broken in Godot 4 with the OpenGL renderer, but 3D rendering worked, which is the opposite of kind of what you would expect Oh, and there was a period of time where 3D rendering wouldn't work unless you had one directional light, one omni light, and one spotlight, which is why I have all of those. That's no longer the case. We can delete them. And we have 2 cubes. Oh, I wonder if I put the 2 cubes because I didn't know which direction you were going to be facing, positive Y or negative, or positive Z or negative Z. So I put 2 cubes just in case. Test projects are fun. Okay. So we need to add to this a canvas layer upon which we are going to put a button. This button is going to be, yeah, we'll have 2 buttons. We'll have an, or maybe we're going to need 3 buttons here. We need an enter VR, an enter AR, and then just a button that we're going to press to do something, to test that touches still work once we've entered AR mode. So we need an enter VR. We'll rename this button to enter VR. And we need an enter AR button. And another button. Come on. The bug in Godot 4 where I press Control A and it doesn't always work is still present. I don't know if that's, like, is that just me? Does anyone else have that problem? I've had it the entire, like, Godot 4 development cycle. So, I don't know. It's very frustrating, though. We'll call this test button. And we want to add all of them as unique names. Ooh, that's cool. That actually works now. That didn't work last time I tried it. I selected 3 things and said make scene unique, and it only did the first one. This time it did all of them. That's awesome. Actually, maybe let's do a VBox, and we'll put all of these in a VBox just to make positioning them easier. And we'll put the VBox centered. There we go. Oh yeah, the having ADB over Wi-Fi has been super helpful in testing the distraction timer. Oop, these both say enter VR. One needs to say enter AR. Okay, now VR is what we're doing currently. We may just steal a whole bunch of code from here. VR supported, AR supported. Where are these variables defined? I don't see them. Oh, okay, they're up here. Okay, I see what's going on. Supported sessions, they're coming from here. And then we make the buttons visible or not. Okay, so let's make these buttons not visible by default. And then in our script, which we're going to improve, okay, so this actually is using variables for VR supported, AR supported, which we don't really need, do we? VS Code, take my, what did I press? I pressed something. Go away. All right. Some git blame kind of thing. You're still not seeing my key presses. What is up with you, VS Code? There we go. Okay, so we don't really need this. We are going to just enable or disable the buttons depending on. So we need enter VR button visible equals true, and then we'll do the same for immersive AR. Enable the enter AR button. And I guess we have to check both things, right? So we check immersive VR, check immersive AR. How do I do that in here? Do I just do them both like in a row? On XR supported sessions. What is this? Supported sessions. VR supported, AR supported. Is this This isn't how this works, is it? Oh, okay, so I have a special singleton I made. Okay. All right. Let's look at the singleton for a second just to see what in the heck I had going on there. Okay, so I made this XR singleton so that this one app could work as a Quest native app and a Webxr app, and just sort of swap between them. This was before we implemented the button mapping thing that was recently added to Webxr as well a few months ago. I don't think we worked on that on stream. I think I just worked on that on my own. Okay, but we don't need this. We don't need this. And it's doing it with some yields. We're gonna keep doing it the way that I just coded it right now. That seems good. Ooh, so the 3.5.1 fixed the multiple selecting multiple nodes and having them go into scene unique. All right, so this seems good. We'll enable the buttons. We want for the test button to do something super simple and super obvious, such as, where'd the code go? Here it is. Such as OS alert test. And this on button press. I guess let's bring this up. We'll put all the buttons kind of near each other. So we can get rid of this. We're not doing it that way anymore. Replace this on button press, which we were doing as unhandled input, because again, like I said, we couldn't, their 2D rendering was broken for a period of time. So we're going to do that differently. Now we're going to just connect to this button. And this will set up VR, and then we need to set up a new method to set up AR. And we're going to do some of the same things. We're going to make this message a little bit different. Failed to initialize VR and failed to initialize AR. AR is going to initialize immersive AR. I don't know which of these reference-based modes makes sense for AR. I think these all do. I think all of these three do. Let's look at over here. Yeah, okay, so it's doing the exact same things for both AR and VR. So when the session starts, oh, we do need to keep track of whether we're in AR or VR mode, because we need to do some slightly different things when we start. So let's make just a little enum for ourselves. Put it up here. Enum, this will be XR mode. We'll say VR, AR. Maybe we'll start with none. Say XR mode. And we'll drop down here. Mike says, "It's something we should be implementing to VS Code add-on going to the line with the debugger." Yeah. You know, I think it's possible to implement. I think language servers can do that. It might just be something that hasn't been implemented yet. Ahoy, Nionel! Jesh, how are things going? Sorry for my voice being all wacky. Yeah, I wonder now that it's a little bit after 10 if more people are going to show up because it's now back to my regular streaming time. I didn't throw everyone off. So I think after this happens, we want to say XR mode. XR mode VR, right? Why is it not giving me... Did I use the name for a pre-existing thing? Let's see. No. Well, autocomplete's being weird right now. XR mode AR. Ahoy is high in check. Is it really? I think it's just it's high in check in pirate also. Webxr is basically XR but like in a browser. What is it actually? Yeah, that's exactly right. So the common example for AR in Webxr is that you're on a website for a furniture store, let's say IKEA. You come across a thing that you want, and you can press like an enter AR button and now see that piece of furniture in your home directly in the web browser, not in an app, just straight from a web page. And VR, you can put basically any experience as a Webxr experience. It completely takes over the world as any other VR game would, and the advantage there is basically the same as making an HTML5 build of your game gets more people to play it. The same kind of thing theoretically, right? Because distributing games is hard, distributing VR games is harder. Like if you've got an Oculus Quest, getting your game into the Quest store is nuts. There's also SideQuest, but like for people to go to SideQuest and get your game, they have to like put their headset into developer mode, which requires entering their credit card number on a meta page somewhere. They don't actually charge you, but for some reason it's like part of the validation process to be a meta developer, an Oculus developer, is to put your credit card information in. So anyway, this is, you can have your VR game just be at a web address. People go there and can start playing straight away. Funny story since they have no access to the sea. All right, so now we need to say down here, we've got to say if XR mode is XR mode AR, then we need to make the viewport transparent. We'll take the Godot 3 code that I have that does that. Hopefully it will work. If not, we will modify it. That was down here. Where the heck am I getting world environment from? Oh, I guess that's like the environment node. Invalid operands XR mode.ar. And this world environment doesn't exist. I know environments are a little bit different in Godot 4, so we'll have our world environment here. New environment. I mean, the background's always a clear color for our demo, so I think this is good. Maybe we don't even need to do this. Or maybe we need to have the environment, but we don't need to... Or no, we do need to mess with it. We do need to mess with it. Okay. And I will make this be scene unique, so that I can refer to it like this. World environment, and viewport is not declared. What do you mean? Oh, here we go. Var viewport equals get viewport. That might work. We probably need to do some stuff when we come out of XR mode. Say XR mode equals none. Do that here as well. We probably need to restore the environment. We should maybe have a method for this. Say like clean up XR. Then we can copy this duplicate code here. Not clean XR. I wanted clean up XR. Clean up XR. So we also need to mess with the background color. What is it right now? What color would you say this is? Where do we set the color in here? Or no, the clear color. Where does the clear color come from? I know we can set the clear color. Oh, here we go. Is ambient light? Is that where the color is coming from? No, probably not. That's probably just the light. Is this the clear color that we set in the project? Hang on, let's just go look at... Oh no, this is actually the environment resource. Environment resource. Do you have a clear color variable? Yes or no? Clear color. Clears the background using clear color defined in environment's default clear color. Okay, so we don't want the clear color, we want color, not just straight color. Oh, wait, we're switching to a custom color. Okay, I think I have a way of thinking about this. All right, so here we're changing background mode from clear color, which is its original, to background color, and then here we just want to change it back to clear color, which will take us to the default. That makes sense, right? So if we set the default to clear color, we'll get this beautiful gray, and then it'll switch to transparent when we go into AR, and then back to gray when we come out. So let's just run this, see what it looks like. With a test button that does this. We don't get any of the other buttons because this is all implemented against Webxr, which is clearly not supported in just a desktop app. We need to actually run it in the web browser. It says AR wasn't added? VR AR? I have an AR up here. Or you mean like I didn't put it at the end of the line? Sorry, I don't read the comments very often, so you're probably referring to earlier when I didn't type AR at the end. I don't know what this button visible business is about. Oh, so it's like hiding the buttons and then showing them again? I'm not gonna mess with that. Let's just leave the buttons. Let's leave the buttons alone. Don't need to get too fancy. This is a demo app. Okay. So we have a little test app, and let's now export it to the web. We should have this pointing. Oh, God. I shouldn't have clicked that. I shouldn't have clicked that. So in master right now, I don't know if you guys are experiencing this. Anytime I open a file dialog, it gets stuck. Everything locks. We're now going to have to force kill Godot because I clicked a little file folder. Yeah, that's master branch. That's master branch for you. Let's get X kill, and we'll hit this guy right here. Did that work? No. Okay, we'll do this a little bit differently. We'll move this down here, and then we'll do X kill and hit that. There we go. Okay, let's launch the editor again, and remember not to click a file button, which actually means we can't do the export from the UI. Now that I'm thinking about it, once you click the export button, it brings up a file browser dialog, so we have to do this from the command line. Okay, so headless export debug web, and we have to give the path, so build web index.html. Do it! We are exporting. Okay. Wait, the project didn't have an export presets. Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. Okay, let me just copy and paste this. This is the place where I'm launching the editor from. And we're going to go instead to games, G4, GLES. And we're going to run this, but with the full path to where my Godot 4 source code is. There we go. Now let's export. And did I leave that Nginx instance running? I did not. Let's get that Nginx instance running. Let's get out of here. Where was I? I was over here. What? Okay, so it looks like it succeeded in doing the export. There are some leaks here. I don't think my fault. I hope not my fault. And so let's run this. So we've got that running. We need a web browser. We'll keep this window around. I'm just going to close these tabs. Keep this one around. We'll keep this one around. Close this one. And I guess we'll make a new one. We'll make a new one way at the end. So I'm going to open up the browser dev tools and let's go to localhost and see what happens. We have the AR button, which I kind of wasn't expecting, but let's do enter VR. And we're only seeing one side because this is not the same branch as the multiview branch. So it works, but just with the left eye. This is Pirate Edition. This is the Ahoy edition of Webxr. You just got your pirate eye patch right there. Micah says, I've been using Vim for about a month now and may get the Vim VS Code add-on a few more months when I think of more comfortable key bindings. Just Joplin from my notes school and use Vim key bindings, switch it a number of times. Yeah, so I've been using Vim for a very long time, since the late 90s. And I just like, at this point, it's just like muscle memory, and that's the way I use the computer. And the Vim key bindings are pretty good for VS Code. They are not the best I've ever used as far as like other editors that add like Vim-ish support, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I like it quite a lot. Okay, so this is working. Let's refresh. I want to see what happens when I hit AR, because I'm really not sure what's going to happen. Yeah, unable to start session. So this button shouldn't be here. I'm like 90% sure my browser doesn't support AR. Here, let's go in the editor, Godot editor again, and check a couple of things. I should have the code for the app still though, right here. If session mode equals immersive AR, then the AR button visible true. Why? Oh, hang on. One more check is needed. Come back here, code. We are checking that we're getting the callback for the right thing, but we're not checking if it's supported or not. There's this other variable and supported. Okay, so that should work. Oh, come on. Background. Let's export again. We'll make sure it works there. Then I'm going to try with my phone. And I do have a way to share my phone to the screen. I have completely forgotten what it is, because we haven't done a true mobile development stream in a while. But we can Google. We're masterful Googlers, I believe. Okay, so let's check this in the web browser way over here. This time we should not get the AR button. No AR button. Beautiful. And I have to get my phone on the Wi-Fi instead of mobile. Let's turn mobile data off. And I believe my web address 192.168, I think 3. Let's go check this in the L something. Here we go. Here is, or no, because I'm not on the Wi-Fi here. I'm only on the Ethernet. So this is a downside of using Docker for a lot of things. I have all these virtual networks, and it just gets mixed in there with like all of my real networks, and it is a pain. One of these is my proper IP. I think this one. Let's try that. Oh yeah, screen copy. That's the one. That's the one. Let's try 0.129, and it is port 5001 to make sure to HTTPS because Webxr only works over HTTPS. And if this comes up, I will get my phone connected and show you guys. A Godot thing is loading. All right, time to search on the floor. Micah knew it was coming. Should have set up ADB over Wi-Fi. Okay, let's see. Ugh, okay, wrong ADB version. How do I do this? Is there a way to tell screen copy to use my particular selected version of ADB? Wait. I just saw it say ADB executable way at the bottom. Pass the ADB executable. Bam. Okay. So we need to say ADB is located at home/Android/SDK. I think that's platform tools. ADB, yes. And then we're going to run screen copy. Let's do it. Server connection. Oh, I have to authorize. Hang on. Allow. Here we go. Let's turn side. Ooh, that's interesting. Why is it so tiny? There we go. And where'd my buttons go? My buttons have vanished. All right. Let's refresh here. How do I refresh? There we go. Hopefully my buttons will come back now that I'm loading sideways. If not, I guess we'll... Here we go. Let's very carefully press Enter AR. Yes, it wants to create a 3D map of my surroundings and track position. All right, well, the background did not turn transparent. So that's something we have to figure out how to do correctly in Godot 4. I've never tried Webxr AR in Godot 4, so this is my first time live on stream. So I'm going to try to do is press the test button. And nothing's happening. All right, so here's where the work begins. We have to get some debug information, which we could possibly get. We can get the console output via is it devices? Chrome devices? Device? Or is it Chrome inspect? Inspect devices? Yeah, there we go. That was correct. I got it. Wow, I have a lot of things open. Okay, this looks like my phone. I was trying to figure out how to get Cyberpunk 2077 Secret Best Ending 2022 edition. All right, let's inspect here. And my phone has gone to sleep, which is probably why we're not seeing anything. There we go. I'm going to refresh the page. And I can switch to the console. So this will show us if there's any errors coming from Godot. That's interesting. No texture bound to Unit 14. So I looked this up the other day. Unit 14 is supposed to have the radiance map, which it doesn't. It's some bug in the OpenGL renderer that I'm assuming ClayJohn will figure out later. People much smarter than me will figure out where the radiance map has gone. All right. So I want to enter AR, and here we go. Memory access out of bounds. Interesting. So at render target, get clear request color. Oh man, I wonder if transparent windows is broken in the OpenGL renderer right now. Render target, get clear request color. Not render target is true. Or possibly like our allocation of render targets is broken in AR mode. We do need more information though. We need to get more information somehow. So we could try disabling the code that we added to make the window transparent, and if that doesn't affect it, then that's clearly not the problem. So let's start with that. That's easy enough to do. We'll go down here kind of thing by thing, and we'll get rid of this code, and maybe just this too, so we're not messing with stuff. The wrong button. And so let's export this again. Yeah, I should commit what we have so far, actually, while that's exporting. No, not in the app. Where's my one with Godot in it? Nope. Come back, come back. All right, so we did convert the Godot 3 patch to Godot 4. Clearly some things are not working, but I think that's commit worthy. Just the straight conversion. So this would be converted patch from PR number. What was the PR? Have it over here somewhere. Here we go. We'll just take the whole link. Why not? These messages aren't going anywhere but to me. This is going to be my slush branch that I'm working on locally, which actually, if it's my slush branch, I should rename it. Check out B master Webxr input slush. I usually have like my own slush branch where I commit all the time, and then when I'm ready to make the PR, I squash that into a new branch that then is the PR to Godot. And then if I have to go back to it and do a ton of work, I make a new slush branch that again gets squashed into the main PR, just so that I can commit a lot and have a view of my own history as I'm working. Okay, so let's commit this. Convert from Godot 3 PR. And let's push that up. Okay, and this I may as well commit to just my demo project changes. And support for I'm so sorry. This cold was not nearly as bad yesterday. I wake up in the morning like unable to speak, but it's my streaming day. I'm sorry for all the coughing. And support for AR and other things. Okay, so we just exported a new version with the transparent, our attempt to make the viewport transparent turned off, disabled. We are going to try this again. This is actually nice. Like, this isn't even screen copy. This is just the developer tools in Chrome, or Brave, I guess, because I use Brave, but it's a fork of Chrome. So, okay, so enter AR. We are still getting this error. One possibility is that we're giving the incorrect size for the render targets. When you enter XR mode, your XR interface is responsible for telling Godot how big the render targets should be and how many of them there should be. And possibly we're getting that wrong. We need to get some more intel here. So we will add some code that like spits out that information. Because like we're now not doing anything that different from what we did in VR, and VR mode is working for whatever reason. So where we can do that? Oh, look at the header file. Somewhere we have get render target size. So I don't trust that we're not crashing before we have a chance for GDScript to grab this. So we are going to actually print this out in C++. Say RT size. And what are these? Are these floats? I don't know. I don't know if they're floats or not. Let's hover over this. It is a float. Okay. So, or that might actually be a long in this case, right? Because recently, didn't Godot 4 switched using 64-bit floats all over the place? Well, we'll try F for now. We'll see what happens. And we'll put render target size width, render target size height, and we're going to see what that gives us. And I'll actually, I will move this line down here. Okay. So we need to build that for HTML5 again. Shouldn't take long. And we will see that. Another thing we should probably do is actually go look at the code references. So GLES storage, texture storage, CPP 1520 and 1526. Draw viewports is the actual crash. That's where we do this memory access out of bounds, but I'm assuming it's these earlier messages are closer to the cause, which I could be wrong, but experience tells me, look at the first error. The first thing that goes wrong is frequently closer to the cause, and the later thing is frequently just a symptom of whatever the underlying cause is. So I'll start this exporting, and let's go take a look at that code. So that was in texture storage. CPP in GLES, not the full conversion, and it's at line 1520 and 1526. So render target, get clear request color. So what it's saying is the requested render target just plain doesn't exist. We don't have it. And 1526 is saying the same thing. We have no render target. So what could cause that? I wonder, like, well, no, this doesn't have any of the multiview code in it, right? So none of the multiview stuff is here. I was going to say, I wonder if it's making like a texture array 2D of just an array with one texture in it, because there's only one eye for smartphone AR. But that doesn't apply to this situation, because we're not including that code. So, where is this code called? So we can kind of figure out where in the sort of chain of events that this is happening. Let's look for render target get clear request color, and we're going to look specifically in the GLES3 driver. So let's look at these instances. What function is this? Okay, this is render scene. This is a very important function. We spent a lot of time in this function when working on multiview. But so it's actually getting the render buffers render target. That's like a step removed from the actual render target. Yeah. Oh, and this is just an orig file. That's the same file. Ah, interesting. So Micah's giving the commands to get ADB over Wi-Fi going. So ADB TCP IP 555 with the phone connected over USB. Then you can disconnect your phone and run Adb Connect IP 55555. Okay, so it sounds like the first command is instructing your phone to listen on port 5555, and then the Adb Connect command is having your local Adb connect to the phone. Let's just try it. Let's just try it. We're about to go debug again, so let's we'll close this one. We'll close our DevTools here. We will find a terminal. So ADB TCP IP or TCP IP 555. Oh crap! I ran the wrong ADB. Cancel. Stop doing things. I always do this. There's an ADB that's installed by Ubuntu, which is old, and then I have my own installation of Android Studio, which has a newer, more modern ADB, and I always accidentally run the wrong one. Okay, so ADB TCP IP, and because I did that before, I may need to again give my phone permission, or maybe not. Maybe it still hasn't. Daemon not running. Daemon started successfully. No devices. Emulators found. All right. Let's try. There we go. I do need to give permission again. Okay. Let's try this again. What are you talking about? I just gave you permission. All right. Let's try disconnecting and reconnecting again. I think I broke everything by running that other version of ADB. Let's try, is it restart? No. Or is it like, no, there's some way to kill the ADB daemon and restart it. How is that done? Reconnect? Or here we go, start server, kill server. Kill server. Start server. Go devices again. Come on. Reconnect device. We broke it. We broke it. Yeah, I don't think we can actually go back to doing what we were doing until I can get ADB to recognize the device again. Because it won't work over USB if ADB isn't seeing it. So we have to solve this now. That doesn't look good. Well, let's just go back to here. We'll go to Chrome, inspect devices, and it's not going to show it to me, is it? Or it's showing me something. Yeah, okay, so it's seeing my phone. It's seeing my phone. I don't know how it's seeing my phone when ADB is not seeing my phone. That's bizarre. Let's yeah, okay, we're connected. I don't know how. I don't know how that's possible. We're connected. All right, enter AR. And we did not get our print statement. So I built it. Did I remember to export again? Just export again for good measure. So is the problem happening before we even get to this point? This is so weird. I was not expecting an issue in the renderer just because we were doing now AR. There's really not that much difference, especially without the multiview code. The multiview code does a lot of stuff where it says if the view count is greater than 1. And that could get interesting because we might want AR to take, or smartphone AR, to take the same paths through the code that VR is taking, but that count is greater than 1 thing will be false on smartphone AR because there's only one view. But we don't have any of that stuff in there. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Render a viewport, draw viewports. I'm assuming this memory access out of bounds is it attempting to access to do something with the render target here, which is a null pointer. It's a pointer to nothing. The question just is, why are the render buffers null? Well, there actually might still be some code that's doing that same check, that view count greater than 1 check that I was just talking about. That isn't our code. That's like code that Bastian put in there from older stuff. Let's go look in, geez, what is that? It's a renderer scene render, I think, but not this one. This is the, or no, this one. And let's look for XR interface. Oh, come on. I swear it's in here. No, wait. It's renderer scene, or no, renderer viewport? Render viewport. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. Okay, so we, somewhere up here is where the render targets get created. Here we go. So the XR interface has now said, hey, this is my size, which I don't know why we didn't see the print statement. I guess I just re-exported. We can try reloading. We'll just do one last quick check to see. Where the heck is it? Here it is. Come on, let me press buttons. We'll see if we get our print statement. So enter AR. Print statement still not happening. Weird. But if we go back to the code, we get the render target size. We say, hey, viewport, you need to be a different size now, which takes us to this code where we're saying if the size is different or the view count is different, then we need to recreate the render targets. We're passing in a view count, which is still going to be 1, I think. I think it's still going to be 1. We should actually verify that, but not right now. So then we end up in the GLES version of this, which here we resize the render target. Let's see if there's anything to do with view count or XR interface. It does nothing with that. Our multiview branch does do something with that, but let's look for XR interface. Nope, nope. Okay, let's go back. And then here's where the render buffers should be created. And this actually seems to be where it's going wrong. When we looked at the code reference that we were getting over here, these two lines, it was telling us it was the render buffers that had the null render target. So if size equals 0, height equals 0, then it unrefs it. That's interesting. And else okay, and then the real work happens down here, I think. I did not think we were gonna end up back in the renderer. Something that would be interesting to try, which we're out of time, so like we can't do it, but would be interesting to try doing the same test, but with this code merged with the multiview code, and see if it fares better or different. You know, because we changed a lot of stuff in the renderer to get multiview going, and I wonder if some of that stuff might be needed in the case of AR as well. Well, anyway, my friends, thank you everyone for coming to the stream. I'm sorry that again we had a stream that kind of didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish, but I mean, we're part of the way there. We've converted the code. It's probably almost correct. We just need to get a good test going so that we can verify that it's actually creating these touch events the way that it should. And I guess the first step of that is just getting AR to not crash, going into AR mode, not hitting a one of these, because this error here is just stopping Godot completely. That's why nothing's working past this point. Anyway, thank you everyone for coming. I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you on Discord and around the place. Happy hacking, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.